it's not a coincidence that every terroristic act, almost every terroristic act aimed and based on this fascist book, the Quran, and this wrong ideology, the Islam, unfortunately has been done by people
but
from
this was a
Islamic...
handful compared to, you know, hundreds of
Well,
millions of people.
unfortunately, it is not a handful. It is a growing minority who find their inspiration in this Islam. I hate political correctness in a way that I'm not a cultural relativist. I don't believe that cultures are equal. I believe that our culture is far better than a retarded Islamic culture. I believe that we are...
You're calling
that we
the
should
Islamic culture retarded.
It is. It is. Look at how in this
people
culture
hearing
women...
those words at home or around the world will absolutely go crazy when you hear that.
Well, this is not my aim, but I give you an honest answer about what I believe. You don't know what the movie would be like, and maybe some people would get offended. It's not my aim to offend people. My aim, they might be offended. I know that. I acknowledge that. It's not the aim of the movie, but it might be. So, what the hell? It's their problem. It's not my problem.
You know, just in these last couple of minutes, you've offended about 1.5 billion people on this planet. I mean,
well,
absolutely outrageous, not necessarily wrong or right, but outrageous that you were saying that.
Well, somebody should say it. I believe I'm not, luckily I'm not the only one, but of course I make a distinction between the religion and the people. I have big problems with the Islam. I have big problems with this ideology, this religion. But I'm not saying that all the people who call themselves Muslims are wrong. Of course, also the majority of the Muslims living in the Netherlands are not terrorists. Unfortunately, a growing minority, not only in the Netherlands, but all over the world, the growing minority of Muslims is taking a radical and extremist stand. So I make a distinction, which is, of course, for some people is hard to understand, but I make a distinction between the religion. I don't believe in a moderate Islam. I don't believe what some people call the European Islam. I don't think there will be, and if there will be in time a moderate Islam, it will be in 2,000 or 3,000 years, and we cannot afford to wait. It's 5 minutes to 12, as we say in the Netherlands. But I do believe in people, which means that if Muslims try and really want to assimilate in the Dutch society, they have to get rid of the tough and intolerant and fascist parts of the Quran. But if they want to assimilate and take our values to their values, of course I have nothing against them. They are worth and have chances as much as you and me or any other.
Well, Mr. Wilders, let's start with this movie that we've been hearing about. Is it a movie about the Koran, about Islam? What's going on with this?
Well, Quran is Islam, unfortunately. So it's about both, but the main issue is the book, fascist book, the Quran. And what I want to show with this movie, what I already did, both in Parliament as in some articles I published in newspapers, is to show the people that many verses from many surahs are very bad indeed, and still, even today, I'm not talking about centuries ago, are inspiring people to do the worst, often implemented in laws in many countries in the Middle East. But once again, also in Europe or in the United States, is inspiring people to do the worst things. And this is what I want to show, why we should get rid of this terrible book.
Is this movie finished? Is it ready to be aired?
No, I'm in the process, as we are talking, in making this short movie. It's about 10 minutes time. And, well, I hope to finish it within the next few weeks.
Next few weeks. And it'll be airing on where? Dutch television or internet?
Well, I'm negotiating with Dutch programs, television stations. They are not all too eager to broadcast it without seeing it before, which I can understand. So as soon as I've finished it, I will show it to a few of our television stations, hoping that one of them will broadcast it.
But it's really happening. Some people say, oh, it's a bluff. Oh, he's just talking about it for a publicity statement.
Well, wait and see.
But why would you do it? You know what kind of reaction. The advance word already is that there could be riots in the streets if you do something like that.
Well, this proves my point even more, that it's needed a lot to make such a movie. Indeed, only the pronunciation that I was going to make a movie was already the Dutch government panicking, talking with imams all over the country, Muslim groups threatening to go to court to prevent the movie being published, as if we have no freedom of speech in the Netherlands. So all the reactions before even the movie is finished, let alone broadcasted on television, proves my point exactly, that it's very needed to make a movie, and that, well, people should bear some criticism also in the Muslim community.
People will admit that there is a real clash of civilizations going on right now, but isn't your kind of rhetoric, your kind of discussion, just fanning the flames, burning on this issue?
Now listen, we tried for many decades in Europe. We tried it the other way. We tried it to do it with dialogue. We tried it to do it by accepting other cultures, by calling them equal, by saying that everything is allowed. A few years ago in the Netherlands only said that it's wrong that people have 5 times more a social benefit if they are from Moroccan origin. You're almost called a fascist, which is totally nonsense. So we are politically correct. We tried it every time, every day again. And politicians who invented the multicultural society, of course, are not eager to admit that they were wrong, that there at least are also backsides of this concept of multicultural society, cultural relativism, especially if you do it our way, unlike the way in the United States, where at least people have an incentive to go to work, to integrate. If not, you face your own problems, which is totally different in the Netherlands, besides the fact that we have totally different kinds of immigrants, from the mountains of Morocco or from countries where they go to the United States. It's not to be compared. The concept of immigrants in the United States and Europe and the Netherlands is totally, totally different.
People have the image of Holland as kind of a model of multiculturalism, as kind of low-key politics, basically people getting along, living among each other. What are you saying? That's just the facade, and the reality is something else?
Well, I don't. Netherlands. I mean, the multicultural problem brought us all the problems, and not only the fact that those people came here, but that you cannot even blame all the individuals to come to a country where they can have a better life. But unlike, for instance, the United States, we pampered all those people. We have a real perverse social security system, and people even get more social benefit than when they work at the minimum wage. So there's totally no economical incentive to get the best out of yourself and to work. And if you work, you assimilate, you get friends, you have something to be proud of, you use the values, you share the values more often. If you don't, if you give people housing without any pay, if you give people a social benefit, if you don't tell them that to beat up your wife or to let your wife or your young daughter not work in the Dutch society, that it's wrong, that it's not okay if your son beats up homosexuals on Saturday evening in Amsterdam. If you don't do that, you get into trouble. So it's not only those persons who are doing that, but it's also, in the last decades, the Dutch politicians that were responsible, that they allowed it to happen, that they never said, stop, it's our country, we are the boss, it's our values. If you want to come and stay here, that's okay, but only if you adhere to our values, to our principle, and our law and constitution. And unfortunately, that is not happening. So, with all the tolerance we are having, unfortunately, we are also tolerant to the intolerant. We should learn to start being intolerant to the people who are intolerant to us. This would be the best lesson for the Dutch government to learn.